Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're talking about Wonka. So Wonka is a musical fantasy film directed by Paul King, starring Timothée Chalamet, Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Key, and Hugh Grant. And the story, it follows a younger Willy Wonka as he arrives in this European city to start selling his chocolate to the world, but of course his plans are thwarted by the chocolate cartel, which is these three older chocolatiers who just want to basically hoard all the chocolate for themselves. So first off, I'd like to thank Warner Brothers for sending me a 4K copy of the film. It was delightful to watch on my big TV at home. So thank you again, Warner Brothers, for that. So the one thing that I can say about Wonka, so here's the story. Wonka is a very cozy, warm, kid-friendly film, and it gives off the vibes of Paddington and Paddington 2, if you've ever seen those movies. So in my research, while I was, looking this up before I do my review, I realized that Paul King directed Paddington and Paddington 2. So of course, this movie feeling like those two makes perfect sense. And I can't believe I didn't, realize that before. It just makes perfect sense. So in the way that it's like Paddington, it's like a live action cartoon. There are a lot of situations that Wonka is put in that are ridiculous. They're silly. They're meant to make kids laugh, but you have real people in these situations, so adults can sit there and enjoy this film as well. Like I said before, it is a musical, so there are songs throughout, and I think Timothée Chalamet does a great job. He has a great singing voice. He is a natural in this version of Wonka. I think that it works well for this younger, more naive version. And I like some of the backstory that they added here that has not been present in previous films, namely that he is a magician. He can somehow do magic when making his chocolate. And they don't thoroughly explain it, although I wish they did, but I did like that aspect that he's a magician. He's also an inventor. So we actually get to see him going through the process of inventing his special forms of chocolate. And he actually has these very exotic ingredients that are not real world ingredients. Like he actually has drops of sunshine and like physical emotion, stuff of that nature. I'm probably not saying it exactly correctly, but those are the type of ingredients that he uses to make his wonderfully amazing, one-of-a-kind chocolate. So that aspect of his backstory I really like. There's one aspect of the story that I absolutely hated because I thought it was a joke when it first came up. By the end, you find out, no, it was always like that. And is that Willy Wonka is illiterate. I think the only word he knows at the beginning of the movie is Wonka, his name. But he can't read anything. So there's like this scene where he reads this long contract, and me as an adult, I'm thinking like, he's the smartest guy in the room. He definitely knows the way out of this contract. But no, it's that he couldn't read it. He just signed it and he's stuck in this horrible situation. And the little girl, her name is Noodle, who I really enjoyed. She's wonderful in this movie. She's the one who teaches him how to read throughout the movie, and it's their budding friendship that is the lifeblood of the film. Hugh Grant as the singular Oompa Loompa that we really see in this movie, he's fine. He is done digitally, like they did in the previous Willy Wonka film that was directed by Tim Burton. So that they go with that aspect again. And like I said, it is fine. I guess it's a way to save money, and there's only one of him. I like Hugh Grant in his older age. He's taking these very exotic, very funny roles, and I think he's fine as Oompa Loompa, but it's just not my favorite. I like the original Oompa Loompas that were actually portrayed by real people. That is just how I feel about that subject. One of the things in the movie that really did make me laugh, and when I was watching this with my wife, was Keegan-Michael Key's police officer character. He does some funny things with Wonka. Like there's a part of the movie where he actually threatens him, but actually forgets to follow through on the previous threat that he made. So he's like, "Oh, where are my manners?" And then he like hits him on the head. That was a funny scene. And throughout the movie, he's getting paid off by the cartel in chocolate. And I'm looking at him like, is he getting bigger? And of course he actually is. They're putting him in this prosthetic suit and he's getting bigger throughout the film. So that was a funny gag. But back to Hugh Grant and his version of Oompa Loompa. Like, they show that he's from like this weird island, but they have like modern technology. Like he has a speedboat that I don't even think existed at the time period that this movie's supposed to take place. And like it's in an unnamed European city in an unnamed time period. So I think they were purposefully, staying away from that so things weren't anachronistic or whatnot. But I think specifically setting an actual date would have helped this film a lot. But the movie is vibrant. It looks great. They definitely took care in really respecting, who Willy Wonka is and, respecting the world that is built around him. And the film did quite well in theaters. I think it made over $600 million at the box office. So I can definitely see Warner Brothers coming back and mining this for another sequel. Chalamet is a fantastic actor. They're going to want to bring him back. So I can definitely see within 2 to 3 years a Wonka Returns or something like that as we get him closer to the adult Wonka that we're familiar with in that book. I'm not sure that they're going to go right to the main story of the book just yet. We're going to probably get like another intermediate story, but I could definitely see that happening in the future. So in terms of a score, I think, considering that this is more like those Paddington films and is not really what I was expecting it to be, I'm gonna give Wonka a decent 7.1 out of 10. That seems like a good score for a movie of this nature. And in terms of my favorite, Willy Wonka movies, Tim Burton's version, I like a lot of the backstory they did with that, but Johnny Depp, he was a little too weird with it. I'll just say that much about it. And there are aspects about that film that I enjoy a lot too. But yes, the original with Gene Wilder is still hands down my favorite interpretation of that character. He's the right amount of silly and psychotic that makes a great Willy Wonka. And I think I would like to see, if they continue making these films, to see Chalamet become a closer version of that Wonka. And like I said, I like seeing the things that he did with chocolate. I like seeing the wacky things, the wacky types of chocolate he made. And I think I would be interested in seeing more of this world and more of what he will eventually do. So to thank you guys again for joining me for another movie review. Remember, you can watch the full review for Wonka on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.